everybody. Welcome to the best and worst of SPK. We have a very special show for you today, and we have survived. We are surviving 2020. And today we would like to introduce you to some of our survivors. So I'm Anila,
I'm Ethan.
and let's start to introduce our guest. Well, not our guests, these are our people. So we're going to start with Taylor once she gets on here. So tell us your name, what grade you're in, and something about yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm in the 9th grade, and I'm really happy to be here today. Something interesting about myself is my favorite holiday is Christmas.
Yes,
Which is
ma'am.
very-
Kennedy.
Hi, my name is Kennedy. I'm a freshman, and one thing about myself is that I like to play basketball and volleyball.
Okay, let's go to Evan.
Hi, my name is Colin. I'm 10 years old, and something interesting about me is I kind of like Christmas as well. It's like a great holiday.
Okay, Evan.
Hi, my name is Evan. I'm in the 5th grade, and something interesting about myself is I like to play basketball and football.
Okay, so today, in the absence of our beloved Ilani, we have a very special guest for you all, Mr. Cornell.
Hello, my name is Cornell. I'm a freshman, and something interesting, I play baseball.
Nice to meet you
You
all.
guys are kind of glitching.
Uh-oh. Nice to meet you all, though. These are our 2020 survivors that we have here today to talk to us. I'm a freshman because we didn't introduce ourselves. I'm a freshman, and a little thing about me is I like to cheer.
I'm also a freshman, and I love to play basketball and football.
So today, all of our beautiful people are wearing blue, and we all look so nice, don't you? Round of applause. So today we're going to start, and we're going to talk about our community. Our lovely people, Ilani, Colin, and Evan had a wonderful experience to reach out and to help others, and we would like for them to talk about it. So you guys can go ahead.
Okay, so what we did, there's this thing called Feeding Tampa Bay. So we went out, we gave like bananas, tomatoes, onions, eggs, and stuff. We put it in back of the people's trunk. So everybody had something to eat because people have been struggling. They've been losing their jobs. So we decided, hey, maybe we should go help out in the community, which would be a great idea for everybody to do, even if you're struggling, just to help out other people.
Evan, do you have anything? I know you were there too.
Yeah, so it was my first time going there, and when we got there was already people lined up, so I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. And so me and Colin are loading the boxes in, and the people are super nice, and it just made me all around feel good. And after our experience is very humbling. So now I truly know why I need to appreciate what I have, because some people are like struggling, like Colin said, and some people don't have anything. So I need to appreciate what I have rather than what I don't.
Yeah, and some of those people, their cars, like, there was just piles of stuff, which I thought in my head, like, these people have to sleep in their cars. And there was just piles up and up and up of stuff. And we didn't know where to put the boxes. So that just taught me I should be grateful for what I have before I start asking for stuff and wasting other people's money. Because some people are just living in the cars and they don't even have a blanket or a pillow to sleep on.
Yes, and we thank the God of above that we are fortunate enough to be able to do these things. I know we have some other people on here who have experienced reaching out. So if you guys want to talk about that.
So I agree with what Colin and Evan said. I've done Feeding Tampa Bay for 7 years, and what I did was I started a food drive at my school and at different campuses, and I collected food, and I also started collecting cereal, and I also understand, what it was like to help out your community. And when I say I agree with Evan and Colin, is the fact that it makes you feel good because you don't necessarily do it for the recognition. You do it because you know you're helping your community out, and you also know that by doing it, you're also making others aware, because over the past 7 years, this year I've gotten the most recognition because I've had so many different news stations, interview me. And what I like about it is that it helps spread the word. So seeing me helped others see that you need to help out your community, because General Mills, which is a cereal company, also saw me, and they decided to help me donate 48,000 boxes of cereal. And so it really captures the moment, and it really helps other people see that this is a real thing and you really need to help out.
Absolutely. Taylor?
I completely agree. Watching people serve and serving myself just makes me feel really, really good. I actually have my own community service organization that my sister started called Serve Plus One. And then when she went to college, I took it over. And pretty much what it is we go out and we find a community to serve, or we find an organization to help out with. And then the next month we bring someone else, and that's how it keeps growing and growing. And not only does that help the community, it also teaches other people why it's so important to serve. And we talk about like why people should be serving, and like when we're upset that people don't, like I think it's only fair if we do the same. So I absolutely love community service. Not only does it help other people, it helps yourself. It makes you feel so good. It makes you feel so accomplished. And like Kennedy was saying, it's not just because of the recognition. It's because like it'll make your community better. And not only does that help the people in your community, that'll help you in the long run.
I completely agree with that. Community service is a great way to spread positive energy and positive vibes around. But recently, we had the Thanksgiving holiday, and after that is Black Friday, and I noticed that myself and a few of you guys saw that the Black Friday sales were low. So, what are you guys' thoughts on those?
These not a lot of people are going on shops right now. They're shopping online, which they're losing customers. This is why the sales I mean, it was low, but it was not as low as it was last year. So I think it's just because people are not coming to their shops, they're not making as much money, so they have no other option. Because Amazon had horrible deals. I mean, outrageous deals.
Yeah, so COVID played a big part in why things were not why the oh my goodness why the prices were not as low as we thought they would. So Evan, what do you think, how big of an impact do you think COVID had in that piece?
I think it had a big effect, especially since the cases are just going up, they're not going down. So less people are going in person and more people are going online. So they were lower so that they could make more money to support themselves because they're struggling. Businesses are struggling. And so when people decide, I'm just going to stay at home, I don't really need anything on Black Friday. It was just something to go out and have fun. Now it's kind of just like a thing. Okay, well, now I'm just going to stay in because I don't want to get the virus.
With that, the Black Friday sales were, as we're all saying, like lower than, or I guess higher than they usually are, as in the prices were higher and the sales were lower. But if you notice, the Cyber Monday sales were like crazy low because, like we were saying, everyone's shopping online now. So like the Cyber Monday was the new Black Friday because no one is really out going to these stores. They're all just waiting online. So I know I did a lot of my shopping, or at least me and my parents are shopping on Monday instead of on Friday because that's where the sales really were.
Cornell, what about you?
I agree with what Taylor said on how the fact that most of the sales were lower on online since everybody's afraid of catching the virus, and it's actually it's smarter to do it that way because no one's gonna really want to catch the virus and go out anymore. So the main income and source of that is going to be through the was probably the biggest hit Black Friday kind of deal.
Okay, we kind of missed what you said at the end there, but we completely understand what you were trying to say. So over this extreme pandemic, we've had a lot of losses, and one of the most recent ones was Alex Trebek, the host of the long-running show Jeopardy. So we want to know how you feel about that and how much that impacted you, or if it even impacted you at all.
Or
My grandpa, he loves Jeopardy. When I mean loves Jeopardy, he loves Jeopardy. He tries to figure out the answers when people are on the show. I
yeah,
mean, I didn't really get to hear his perspective on it, but I know it was hard for him because he loves Jeopardy. I mean, he could sit there and watch Jeopardy for 24 hours.
yeah. I know that me and my family at every night we had dinner, we would just turn on Jeopardy and watch and try to compete against each other, getting the answers and all that. And it just got really competitive, and we would just sit there and watch it and watch nothing else. I mean, and when I told my parents, they were just kind of in shock that that happened. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but we knew he was gonna die sooner or later because they said he had like some medical issues or something like that. So you kind of already knew what was gonna happen. So you were just enjoying the show while he was still alive.
For sure, Kennedy.
Yeah, even though we kind of like knew that he had cancer and that he was older, it was still kind of surprising. And it just makes me think back on like same thing like what Ethan said. We will all be eating dinner and we will all try to get the answers. And I remember like those exciting moments when I finally got an answer because Jeopardy is pretty. It's a really like it's a show that
Top notch
you
game.
have to be really smart for it.
Mhm.
Like the questions are not easy. So like
Mhm.
whenever you would get like an answer, it would always be exciting. And we always also try to like compete and be like, oh, I got this many right, I got this many right. So yeah, like it always brought good memories. So it was kind of unfortunate.
I don't know who's gonna fill. I don't think anybody can fill in his shoes. He was just like one of the greats on even game shows. He's
Yeah,
going down as one of the greats.
that's what I was going to say. It hasn't really. I mean, I was very upset when he died, but it hasn't, affected me personally and like my everyday life. But I know it won't affect me until I actually see someone try to fill his shoes and see someone take his place in Jeopardy. If they even do continue the show, which I'm pretty sure they are, then it's really gonna hit, and I'm gonna be like, wow, that's not the same person. This is weird, and then I'm probably going to be a little more
It's
upset about it.
it's basically like Black Panther. Like nobody can
Exactly.
fill in him.
Yeah, so I thought that was like a tough loss because the intro was just always kind of exciting. It would be like, and your host Alex Trebek, and it like roll his name and all that stuff. Like nobody can really fill his shoes. I remember it would go like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and then it'd go Family Feud, and that'd just be the role. And you knew if you turned on the TV at 6 o'clock, you were gonna see Jeopardy. So it's just I don't think anybody can fill his shoes, and if anybody tries to fill his shoes, they're gonna get a lot of hate and lose a lot of viewership because it, like Colin said, it's like Black Panther. You can't go hire somebody else to be Black Panther. It just doesn't work like that.
So, I'm aware that most of us saw the new movie Jingle Jangle. What did you guys think about that one?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just like a musical thing. It really didn't. It just wasn't like I couldn't keep my eyes on it for a certain amount of time.
What?
30 minutes. I was probably about to go to sleep, but I just stayed up because I had to stay up.
But let's keep in mind that these were the same people who said Hamilton was just okay.
Oh yeah, you can't even.
Mind
Wow,
the boys don't like musicals.
that
I
movie
just
was so
can't
good.
sit and listen to people singing all like because Hamilton was like 3 hours. I can't sit
I can't. I'm
and
leaving.
listen to
I'm
people
here.
sing for 3 hours. That's like
Exactly.
that's like listening to our show for 3 months straight and not getting anything to eat.
Taylor has something to say.
That is what? That is two completely different things. And are you seriously telling me that you didn't like any of the songs they sang? You didn't like the
No.
fact that
I
it was
like
super
some of-
diverse cast?
Those were
my favorite part was when the guys when the spit came out the guy's mouth.
Okay. Well, I thought that the movie was very, very good, especially because I'm in the Christmas spirit. I watched it again while I was decorating my tree. It was the songs were good because I didn't think it was gonna be a musical. I was expecting it to just be like a regular movie, and then they started singing, and I was like, "Wow, this is great!" I was listening to the soundtrack while doing some homework. I loved the movie, and I loved how the cast was diverse.
Yeah, that's the only thing I liked about it. It was diverse.
Right. I didn't really expect for it to be a musical either. I thought it was gonna be like something like a type of Polar Express thing by looking at the picture. But it's actually very good. It was not predictable, but like I saw it coming that Felicia Rashad was Journey. I saw that coming because of the way the story was going. So Evan, I think you have something to say.
Yeah, so I agree with Colin. That no, not again. An hour in, as soon as it started to get to the grandpa and he was just telling Journey, no, not this, not that, I dozed off to sleep. I mean, I couldn't watch it. It's just the funny part to me was we were watching it. You know, the guy who like stole all of his ideas.
Yeah.
So later, when he gets into his own workshop, he went from black to white. I just noticed that. I was like, it was great. I don't like singing. I mean, I like singing. I can't watch 3-hour musicals like Colin said.
So clearly, musicals are a topic that we differ on, and the boys seem not to like it, but the girls appreciate them very much. So, speaking in that realm, we want to know how you feel about the change that people go through from being a regular person on the street to being a huge celebrity, and how that transition changes who they are personally.
I think that some people can handle it, such as I'll use LeBron James. I think he went from absolutely nothing to something, and now he's helping out children. I'm pretty sure he had a school and all of that, sending kids to college. Some people can handle it. And then you hear about all the athletes and people who just go spend all their money and just like aren't being smart and who have these huge egos, and then it's just like they're back in where they started. And I just think that you need to be smart and you need to be humble, basically.
Yes, because a lot of these celebrities, they know where they come from, but they don't really give back to where they come from. They just think about themselves, their houses, their jewelry, their shoes. That's all they think about. They need to think about other people before they think about themselves.
Yeah, so another person who I just thought off the top of my mind is Shaq. He has one of like the greatest stories. When he first got his million, he said he bought his mom a car, he bought his dad a car, he bought himself a car. He spent all of his money. He didn't really have $1 million. Next thing he knows, he's $60,000 in the pot, and he's in debt. So basically, what he said is after that, he got a manager, and now he manages his money properly and gives back to the community because he knows how many people go broke, and it's just celebrities think when they have money, the first thing they go to, I gotta get a car, I gotta get a nice house, gotta get the jewelry, gotta get the clothes, and they just spend all their money. Next thing they know, they don't have any money.
That's why
Right.
most of these celebrities are like in debt. Some of them are homeless. I was watching a video. One of the NBA players, they're sitting on the street right now. There was a video of someone hitting him. The police came.
What's his name? Devin something.
Yeah, he played with LeBron. That's
Yeah.
all I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cornell, do you have anything? Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna go to Taylor and then we'll come back.
Okay, I agree with everyone, but honestly, I believe it's chance. It's a 50-50 chance how it could go. Either someone could take the fame and run with it and help out their community, go donate to charities, be a true like role model and be a true influencer, or they can just be like a typical celebrity and just think about themselves, become super self-centered, but like what Evan was saying, just get like the clothes and the jewelry and the cars and not think about like other people. And I think that really, I think that really shows like who a person truly is. Like even if they're famous, like if you ask someone, okay, what would you do with your fame? And if they answer honestly, oh, first I'm gonna buy this, or first I'm gonna donate this, then that'll really show like, is this a good person or is this someone maybe I shouldn't be, around
Associating with.
to?
Yeah, because fame is not guaranteed. So once you have it, it's important what you do with it, because you see all these child stars who are so big like in the 90s and the 80s, and now you don't know where they are today. So I think it's very important to know what to do with it and to take it and remember where you come from and keep those morals and keep those people who got you to where you are and pay it back. So Cornell, you're back. So we want to hear what you have to say.
On the top, when Holland and Taylor said that, depending on like if they choose themselves first, but it really depends on where they came from. Say if they came from absolutely nothing, since they have the opportunity now, they can splurge a little, but still, as y'all said, that they must use it in the right way to depend on the fame and how they use it.
Kennedy.
Yeah, I agree with everyone's saying. And it's like you got to kind of think about what you're going to do first, because when you kind of start to get up there, you kind of lose yourself. You just, you're not the same person as you were because you came. So you're not thinking about, like, you're not in the same class as other people. So you're just kind of up there with all the other rich people. You aren't necessarily thinking about how you can help out your community. You're just kind of, oh, I'm rich and I have this and I have that and I can get this. Because some people, they don't necessarily spend their money wisely, but they don't really care because, the money is still rolling in. So you're still buying stuff that you probably don't necessarily need, when that money can go to people who don't necessarily have the best financial life.
Yeah, so I have to add on another thing. If you look at most of the successful NBA players like LeBron, Shaq, all these other people, most of them came from nothing and took that nothing and took all that stuff and made it into something. And they're all giving back to the community now. And somebody that I saw recently, Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat, I saw that he got his million, but the first thing that he does is he gets a manager. He spends $600,000 of his money and saves the other 400,000.
And gets what he wants.
Yeah,
But
so I think that more of like the older like generations like LeBron and them, they came from nothing, came from something. Some of them went broke, some of them didn't. And the newer generations, I think, is just gonna be they come, they get something, and then they're giving back.
Right. And so moving on from that, another recent event that happened was the NBA draft. And I know that me personally, I felt like some of the more so the lottery picks were more predictable, and I just didn't enjoy it as much because I felt like I kind of knew what was already going to happen. What about you guys?
Yeah, same thing. You kind of already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, like the only person that was really like
I honestly think that LaMelo to you can go. I'm sorry.
So yeah, like what Cornell was getting to say, I assume, is that like the
Evan,
only
you
hype
got it.
person.
I'll wait. You got it.
Yeah, the only hype person in the draft was like LaMelo, and that's the only person. But when the
And he
draft
didn't
was
even
coming,
go number one. So
yeah, he didn't even go number one. So when he came number four, I felt like me
no, it
personally
was
when I
number
got
three. Number
yeah,
three.
number three. When I got to school the next day, everybody was just all my friends were like, yeah, after LaMelo got drafted, it's pretty much just boring from there. I just stopped watching. It was just that was the only exciting part about the draft. See what LaMelo's came in as, and then that was pretty much the draft for me.
It looks like Taylor's itching to say something, so we're gonna let you talk.
No, I'm just curious because I find this hilarious because just like how the boys weren't very, interested and into Jingle Jangle, I feel the exact same way about the NBA draft right
Because
now.
you just watched
I'm
it.
just listening and I'm
It's
curious.
basketball.
I'm like,
Because
it's okay.
It's
you didn't
basketball.
watch it, so you don't.
I
know.
didn't.
I really didn't
Exactly.
watch it. I can say what Taylor said. I have no idea who you're talking about. Like you're
No.
saying these names, and I'm so lost.
I'm thinking
Like
of Fruits, LaMelon.
right, like I understood LeBron and Shaq
Yeah.
and all that, but you got to all these rest of these new names, and I'm
Yeah.
so confused.
I got like the big shot,
Right,
the popular ones, but that's all I got. I'm
Do
sorry.
you know who Lonzo Ball is?
I know who he is.
All family like Lonzo, LiAngelo, LaMelo,
I
LeVar.
only know Lonzo. That's it. Past that, I'm done.
Yeah, he
You
got all
lost
three of
me.
his sons in the league.
It
got all
seems
three.
to me like there's a bit of research that needs to be done by the girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got all three.
We watched your
He got
Jingle
all three
Jangle.
of his sons in the NBA.
Look, we will do this. If you go and research and watch at least 2 musicals, we will research 2 basketball players that we do not know. Deal?
I can get behind
Well,
that.
in that case,
Anatla,
wait,
that's
wait,
not fair. Anatla, that's not fair. Because
that's
that's
like
6
5
hours. That's
hours
3
for us
hours
compared
each
to like
to
30 minutes
musical.
for you guys.
And then you just have to Google something. Who went first, second, and third in the NBA draft? That's
We
all
told you
have
our
to do.
terms.
And we have to watch 2 musicals.
Colin,
One
just
is
go
for
watch
the
like
Oscars,
high
one
school
is-
musicals, man.
That's not
Wait,
fair.
guys, Colin, guys, stop. We already watched the musicals. We watched
Don't
y'all's
do
Hamilton, and
Yeah.
we watched you guys' Jingle Jangle. We're done.
Okay, fine, whatever. You win this one. You win this one. But, however, Kennedy is a basketball player. And so we do know that she may know a little bit more about this than Taylor and I. So, Kennedy, we want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, yeah, I watched it. I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, like everyone was saying, everybody expected LaMelo Ball, and I mean, it was okay. What I liked about it was seeing like everybody getting all excited, and all the emotion, and some people couldn't believe that they made it. That's what I liked about it. But I didn't really like watch the whole entire thing. But I mean, it was still nice.
Yeah, the only thing that my sister was paying attention to, so someone got picked in the draft. I think they were from Jamaica or Nigeria or something. They were cooking up some curry chicken and some rice, and Alani's like, "Ooh, that looks good." I'm like, "What are you watching?"
Oh my goodness. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is oh my gosh, hold on. That was a little funny. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the difference between what we learn in school and what we have to teach ourselves, or what our parents have to teach us outside of the school parameters. So there's a lot of things that don't get taught now that our parents were taught in school. They don't teach cursive in school anymore. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you about mortgage and on housing. So we have to be inquisitive and ask our parents these questions. So Evan, we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so in school, like I've heard my brother and my sister, and sometimes my parents did it too. And we go up to them and we ask them, and they're like, "Oh, I don't remember learning this. I don't remember this." Like the other day, I told my parents about this thing. It's called AAAWWUBBIS. And when you start, it's a saying. When you start a sentence with that a word, you'll probably need a comma after that. My mom was like, "Wow, I've never heard that. Probably would have been useful when I was in school." And so basically, they just come up with new things. Like our economy is evolving every single day. It's just as if we learn something every day. You could go out into the nature and explore something and learn something every single day. You just have to put your mind to it.
Yeah, and the same thing why they're not teaching us this stuff because they don't want to get into politics. So basically, let's say we're talking about our President Trump right now. They're just kind of sugarcoat it and say, oh, Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. And they don't really want to get into it. So like, what he's doing bad? What I'm not sure he's doing anything good right now, but something like that.
Yeah, Cornell, do you have something on this topic that you would like to say? Okay, so we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go.
At times in school, they do give us useful things that will help us out in the long run. Other
No, keep going. You can keep going. Okay, I don't think he can hear us. I think he's a little delayed.
As I was saying, that at times school, my delayed.
Yeah, just a little bit, but just keep talking.
Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. At times we do learn stuff that is useful and that will help us in life, but then at other times I'm given useless information because they used to teach real life skills and they don't teach us how to like make money or how to save or like financial responsibility, but they just give us math or reading or something to do. They need to start teaching real things that's gonna help us out in the real world.
Mm-hmm. And what my grandma said this the other day. She's like, I don't find this interesting, but back in like when my mom went to school, they used to do like home economics, cooking and stuff. And that's what she was talking about, like gardening class and stuff. We didn't. She said that we should be added that now because she said it was useful back in my mom's day, and now she knows how to cook stuff. She knows how to plant a garden and stuff. So that would be kind of useful.
Okay, so let's think about this. The teachers and administrators are trying to prepare us for a world that does not yet exist. We are living in this time, and they're trying to prepare us for the future without knowing what that future holds, because the world is changing so fastly, and things are moving so quickly that every time you think you have something, that something is not something else. So I think it's also just on their end a little bit difficult to prepare us for the unknown, if that makes sense. But also they can prepare us for the things that don't change, like writing a check that's not going to change. And a lot of us in school don't know how to do that. So Kennedy.
Yeah, like I feel like our school curriculum and stuff is not like made for the future because we're kind of just stuck kind of in the past. And then things like algebra, for example, you learn all this different type of stuff. You go to college, you learn all this stuff to get your degree, but then you realize later in life that you didn't necessarily do that. So like,
yeah,
when
so
I do algebra,
yeah. So what I think some kids don't really know what they want to do in life. That's fine. So, but some kids know what they want to do in life. So I like if kids can like pick their classes. So if kids want to be engineers, they take science. If kids want to be a writer when they grow up, they take language arts. I mean, if they want to tell like stories and be like famous or something like that, or be a civil rights activist or something like that, they should do social studies so they know their information.
Yeah, and subjects like algebra doesn't really, it kind of depends on like what you do, because like my mom, my dad, they probably don't really necessarily really know how to do my homework or the work that I do in school because they never really use that. Like you learn it in school, but then you realize that you didn't really need it and kind of go on in life. And it was kind of just useless.
Yeah, so personally, I'm in high school, and I still have yet to understand how y equals mx plus b is going to help me get a house and feed my family and sustain a job later. Unless
Yes,
I'm
that is
being
exactly my
Give me
point.
why
but
points
I
before.
still I don't understand why like I'm being taught that since it's not really necessary in life.
Right, the slope of a line. Who cares at this point? When we're 32 years old, what do we need the slope of a line for?
Right.
But let's talk about the slope of this virus. Okay, this has been talking about a vaccine for the longest time since March. And after our planning meeting, guys, there were things that came about that said our first Black president and Bush and Clinton think that, well, no, they know that they're going to take the virus to try to gain public trust. I want to know how you think about that and if you think that that approach is going to work. So, Kennedy.
I think it'll work because I feel like since they're gonna take it on television, if they see that they took it and nothing happened, then people are gonna gain more trust. And the reason why people don't necessarily want to take the vaccine is also because of Trump. And we have to kind of realize that Trump has absolutely nothing to do with this vaccine. Like, he's going to try and take credit for it because he said, "Oh, we're going to have a vaccine by this time." But we have to realize that he has absolutely nothing to do with it. He was not in that lab creating any type of vaccine or anything. So, if the scientists and doctors say that it's safe, and there's several vaccines that are more than 90% effective, then it might be okay. But we can't be like, no, I'm not going to do it because of Trump, because Trump has absolutely nothing to do with it. He's just going to try and take credit for it.
Right, because this man has been going against Dr. Fauci since February.
It's Fauci.
Fauci. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Please. Yes, because I hate when people say Kamala, so please correct me. But he has been going against Dr. Fauci since the beginning, since we've been talking about this. But I do want to know, why do you think the Black community necessarily is apprehensive about taking this vaccine? Like, what do you think the basis or the foundation is that there's a hesitation?
Because the reason why is because they need like separate vaccines. Because some Black people are thinking there may be a vaccine for Caucasians, Hispanics, Blacks, Asians. They may need their separate vaccine because the Caucasian vaccine may not work on the African American vaccine, or the Caucasian vaccine may not work for African Americans.
Yeah.
Cornell.
I disagree with that, Colin. I just feel like there's a trust factor with the vaccines and everything. I don't think that the community trust in Trump in that vaccine. Everybody, we're thinking that there's going to be something in that vaccine. At least it's something different than what is the intended purpose.
Yeah. So I think that it's not. I'm kind of leaning towards what Colin says, that it's about that. But if we look at it, Black people usually have health issues. Like, it's not, we're healthy, but normally they do. And so I think that it's just, they want to see other people do it, because why do we have to, if you guys don't already appreciate us, then why do we have to be the ones to go up first and try something new?
Right. So like the flu shot is given to you, and I've known a number of people who've gotten the flu shot and still got the flu. So I think you get the flu shot and it gives you a little bit of the flu so that your body can create an immunity to it. But what about those people who have pre-existing conditions and they get this vaccine and it gives them a little bit of COVID and their body can't take it, and it ends up becoming worse? I think that's a little bit of the fear that people are having, is that we're seeing these people die day in, day out, knowing that this vaccine is not trustworthy yet, knowing that there's a lot of things in history that prove that giving these vaccines to the Black community specifically, it does more hurt than it does help. So Kennedy, can you tell me a little bit about that? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and that, like you said, that's why people are having trust issues. And even though it bothers me when people say, "Oh, why are you still thinking about racism being a problem? All of that was in the past." This is why, the fact that we have to worry about this, and the fact that we have to have trust issues over our health, then that's why that becomes a problem. So, yeah, I understand that. I understand that it could be pretty risky, especially for people who have pre-existing conditions, to have trust issues over that.
Yeah, I completely agree with what everyone has been saying, and I think people are more concerned about this than usually, like with the flu shot and any other vaccine, because this is right in our face, and this has been happening all year, and it's only gotten better for maybe a month, and then it's already getting worse again. So people are concerned about this because there's less of a chance of it working than it not working. So just going around and asking people to test it without any prior, evidence or prior, things that they can look at so they know that they'll be safer, can be really disconcerting, especially in the Black community, because like what Kennedy was saying with racism and history, the Black community is more known for being less immune to these vaccines because of the healthcare that we aren't privileged to.
So now that we're getting kind of close into the politics area, I know I spoke with you guys and you guys had some opinions on the Georgia Senate race. So we can start with Taylor on that one.
I think it kind of really needs to go blue, since we have our president of the United States is a Democrat. The Senate really needs to go blue. But the reason why I'm saying this is you can't have a red Senate and then a president who's a Democrat. I don't think that's really going to work out.
Well, we know that's not going to work because that exact same thing happened with Obama. He was a Democratic president, but the whole Senate and the House was Republican, so he couldn't do all the things that he wanted to get accomplished during his terms. So yes, Georgia does need to be blue if we want everything that we want to happen.
So before we move on, let's kind of explain this to the audience if there's any people who don't know. There are 100 Senate seats, and that's 2 for every state. So right now we're in a battle for our Senate, with the last 2 seats being in Georgia. I believe the last chance to register in Georgia for this election is December 7th, I think. Don't quote me on that. But so we do, like Colin and Taylor said, it's imperative that Georgia goes blue, because especially in this time particularly, there's no way that a red Senate and a blue president are going to work, because it's not going to mesh. They're not going to collaborate, and the government is going to be trying to fight each other instead of working for the American people. So it's imperative. It's very, very, very important that we get it through to those people who can vote in Georgia. Anybody who's watching us who's in Georgia, that you must vote, because it matters. Like, if you voted for Biden, you need to vote for this Senate, because the presidential election is not the only election that you should vote in. There are many local elections and all these things that you should vote in that help get you to the presidential election, if that makes sense. So Kennedy, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I agree. And what people have to understand is, when people ask, "Oh, what did Obama do for us?" we have to understand that Obama wanted to do everything that he could, but when you have the whole government going against you, of course they're not going to allow you to pass things. So Obama, even though when he tried to do things, they wouldn't let him. So if the same thing happens to the Senate, those are going to be the same questions that rise for Biden. What
Right.
did Biden do for us?
And-
Besides
and it
understand
kind of
that he didn't get to do everything he wanted to do because
it feels like they want a Democrat for president, but they want the Senate to stay red, which doesn't make sense to me.
Right, like Kennedy said though, but executive orders only go so far. So there's only so much you can do as the president yourself without the Senate's help and without the backup from the legislative branch. So Evan.
Yeah, so I like Stacey Abrams helped Georgia become a blue state, and she helped all these black people come out and vote. If, like Anaya said, if you are from Georgia, you like all the people who voted for Biden, you need to get back and vote for John Ossoff and the other one. We need to get we need to get the seat. If you guys really, if you voted for Biden and Harris, this is the only way that you can guarantee that the next 4 years are going to go smooth and we're going to get everything.
Absolutely. So speaking of Biden Harris, we know that Joe Biden is a little up in age, right? So God forbid something happens to him over these 4 years. Do you think that the United States of America will be prepared and ready to vote a woman into President one and a black woman into that office? Taylor.
No, not at all.
That is honestly that is a really scary thing to think about. And that it's so weird because I want to be like, yes, of course, we are ready. We've had years of injustice, and I think we finally were here. But I can't confidently say that because, of course, there's one half. Like if we look at my school, for example, we have one half of my school that is definitely ready. Then we have another half of my school who is absolutely could not have a black woman president without flipping out. So, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try, but I don't think it would go as smoothly as we would want it to.
Right, Evan.
Yeah. So
you can go.
Yeah, so like what Taylor's saying, there's some people who are ready and there's some people who are not. I think if Joe Biden, if something were to happen to him, it happens and the world just needs to pursue forward. She has the same idea as him. It's not going to be any different. She's going to make history, number one. And if people voted Joe Biden and he wins, she's going to have the same idea as Joe Biden, or else she wouldn't have went for VP with him.
Right, you say about making history. It would if and when I'm praying for this, when she becomes a black woman, she will make history for the second time because she is the first woman, black, Asian American vice president of the United States. And that's super important because my VP looks like me. It's like I've seen that everywhere, and it's so because representation is so important. Like this is why Black Panther, like you guys said, was so powerful to the Black community and to little Black and brown girls everywhere because it was the first time we're seeing someone in this high position of power who looks like us. So she would, yeah, Colin, go ahead.
Oh, and the reason why I said no is because I would love to have an African American woman as president, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Just because with all this stuff going on right now, let's say Joe Biden dies. Not that don't want it to happen, but let's say he dies right now. They're gonna have to re-vote the thing. They're gonna have to do the election again, and then I think Trump's gonna win because I think they would rather have a man as president than a woman. But the only way that could actually happen, let's say Joe Biden does all this stuff, he goes down to the little Trump states, and he gets all those people on his side. Then if Joe Biden dies, then Kamala has a chance of actually being the first African American president.
Right, but we have to remember that once Biden is inaugurated, and if, God forbid, something happens to him, there's nothing they can do. Kamala is the next up. So whether they want to or not, she will be the next person for that position as the vice president. So, God, I'm really hoping he does not die. Everybody who's watching, we do not want him to die. We do not. But we're asking just for future references. We're just having a conversation about will the world be prepared? Cornell.
I think he's good.
Okay, he's typing his thing, and it's going to be on the screen. So it will pop up, but we're going to talk about how we felt towards the Biden-Harris win on that faithful Saturday.
I jumped in the pool. My grandma was doing the electric slide. She was moving around. I'm like, I haven't seen you do the electric slide, and I don't know how long you've done. How long it's been since I've seen you do the electric slide.
Right, Taylor.
It was a very strange sensation. I can say that because, for months I've been pushing, one, telling my friends, and two, convincing myself and putting it on TV. Oh, Biden and Harris are obviously going to win. They're going to win. There's no doubt about it. But when I actually found out that they did win, I was just in a complete state of shock. Like, it is actually happening. We actually did this. And it was just so amazing. Like, I was feeling really emotional for sure. Because, like, I don't have to live in, like, I saw a lot of posts and videos of people being so happy and people crying and people not having to live in fear anymore, and that's how I was feeling. But I'm not gonna lie, at the same time I was a little fearful to go to school the next day in 2 days, because I was on a Saturday, because I already know people are going to be throwing fits, having fights, which I was correct. But I think it was really strange because it's going to be different. It's going to be a completely different America that we've been living in for the past 4 years. But I think it's going to be good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It went from like a sense of hope and praying to like a sense of certainty, but then at the same time, flipping it up and being like, what happens now? Like, it was almost like you enjoyed it for like a few minutes and then you're like, but now what? It was like a sense of now what? But I screamed, I jumped. Ilani actually texted me before I could find out, before it came on the TV. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then the notification pops up and I was jumping and I was crying. My sister and my brother are looking at me like, girl, are you crazy? And I'm like, no, it's very important to me because the next 4 years, I will be able to vote. After that, I'll be able to vote. And it's very important that I watch now, that I'm more closely looking at this process more now than ever. So, Kennedy.
Yeah, after stressing for about a whole week, I saw that text message from Ilani, and that made my day. I was so happy. I had a little dance party in the morning. But then, like Anila said, it was kind of like, what's next? And knowing Trump, we know that he's going to try and do everything in his power to try and stop it. But, I mean, he can't do anything. So it's kind of like, okay, what's Trump going to do? But then you're like, well, he can't really do anything. So, like, all those lawsuits that he was trying to win, saying that there was fraud in the election, I was kind of like, it had me thinking, like, that's, like, the biggest sore loser I've ever seen. And it's kind of just like, it's kind of like every time he loses, it's like a slap in the face because it's nothing he could do about it. And all we have to do is just kind of back and wait till January 20th, and then we don't have to deal with it anymore.
Right, real quick, I did see that that snippet of the Hillary Clinton Trump debate that says every time something doesn't go his way, it has to be rigged. And she named off and she listed everything that has happened and his response to what has happened. And it's always, this is rigged against me. And that is crazy because once again, he's proven that he's a big crybaby. And he said that the election was rigged through all these lawsuits in these people's faces for no reason, when clearly Biden was the president-elect.
And I can't
I mean,
stand
when
that lady on Fox News, the lady who like the host. I can't stand her. It just seems like every time she comes on set, she has a bad attitude. It's like every single time. Because one time my grandma said, "Oh, let's just turn on Fox News because I want to see what the other side has to say." She has the worst attitude I've ever heard in my life.
Yep. And so with that, I think the show is coming to an end. Do you guys have anything else that you would like to say?
Some closing remarks, people.
Just thanks guys for listening to us talk for an hour. I had a really nice time having this conversation with you guys, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yes, ma'am. Kennedy.
So going back all the way to community service and Feeding America, the one quote that I have said is, if you help your community, then your community will help give back to you. So just keep that, let that be a message that you take away from the show. If you took anything at all, let that be something that sinks into your mind.
Mr. Colin.
I hope you guys learned something today. You learned a lot about what's going on right now. I hope you know what's going on, so you're updated, so you know what's going on. And I hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you for tuning in to SBK.
Thank you so much, Miss.
2021.
Thank you so much, Miss Erica, for that little comment that you left. We appreciate you, Mr. Evan.
Yeah, I hope that we could help you guys learn what's going on today, because sometimes, like Colin said, the Fox lady, she has a bad attitude. I've never seen her, but I hope that we could explain it and just expand on what they're saying.
Taylor? Oh, you already went, didn't you?
She already went, but okay, so the last thing I want to say is you guys were wonderful. I love you all. Oh my gosh, it's always such a fun time when we get together, when we talk, and it's just so funny because Colin makes us laugh, and then we say things that make each other laugh, and it's just such a great feeling to be able to talk to people my age who understand where I'm coming from, especially during this time when there's not a lot of people to talk to because I've been stuck inside these four walls. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. To the audience, we thank you so much, and we appreciate you for taking an hour out of your day to listen to us children, and what we have to say, not shutting us out, and for letting us speak our mind and have our peace. So we thank you.
We really do. It is not easy to sit here for an hour and watch a couple of kids talk.
One more thing, when this whole COVID thing's over, we won't be doing anything virtual. We'll be just like doing a set where we can see each other in person.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The couch talk, like a real conversation. Mm-hmm. Oh, so wholesome. Yes. So
okay. I think
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you in 2021. Goodbye.
Bye.